What's going on, Miranda?
I have had previous cosmetic rhinoplasty before, and my back was in a lot of pain.
From a nose
Shouldn't.
job.
Oh, how bad did your nose look before the operation? Was it like Owen Wilson or was it Michael Jackson?
We've all gotten a nose job. And if you think that one's bad, our next caller's was even worse. She woke up with chemical burns and a lot of questions. Let's try to help her deal with her shady ass doctor. Welcome to the Barely Legal Show, Miranda. You think you might be the victim of medical malpractice. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, the BBL, didn't you?
No, but it was slightly cosmetic, so you're close. Not enough junk in the trunk for a BBL yet.
That's what they for. You could put. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're right. It sounds like you're familiar with them.
A little bit.
What's going on, Miranda?
So I had a little issue. I have had previous cosmetic rhinoplasty before and functional septoplasty that I had to get revised because.
Gonna pause you right there. Rhinoplasty is a
Rhinoceros transplant, ain't it?
Yes.
That's perfect. That is correct. Yes, I had a big old horn and I needed it put on my nose.
It's a nose job.
Oh.
Very, yes.
And then what was the other
I
one?
thought I educated here. I didn't know I had to explain myself.
Well, the problem is not that I don't get it. I know exactly what a rhinoplastic is, but it's that other people are much dumber than me and they don't know about plastic rhinos. So
Speaking to the masses.
it was nose job, and then what was the other one? What would be the common language of the second one?
So septoplasty, the middle part of your nose, if it's crooked, in my case, there was a perforation or a hole in it that needed to be plugged.
So basically two different kinds of nose jobs.
Yeah, there's
Cool.
many.
All right, now go ahead. Keep going.
So my situation was pretty complex. They had to harvest muscle from my thigh to reline the septum or the middle portion of the nose. So going into it, I knew it was going to be a pretty long procedure. It ended up being an 11-hour operation, which is pretty drastic. They averaged maybe like it would take 6. So it definitely passed that, but the issues arose when I woke up and I noticed that my back was in a lot of pain, which
From a nose job.
Do you still have your kidney?
Yeah, kind of sus. I had let them know before that I do have scoliosis and that I might need extra padding there. But the pain was just ridiculous for, I think, what it should have been. And
On a scale of 1 to 10, what was your back pain at when you woke up?
It was definitely a 10. And
Wow.
I'm no stranger to back pain. So this was very, very out of the ordinary for me.
How long did it last?
Well, as soon as I woke up and I guess whatever they gave me in the OR wore off, I could feel it pretty intensely and immediately. So I requested some extra pain medication and they just refused to give it to me. Their reason being that I wasn't technically a patient of the hospital. I was a patient of the doctor who performed my surgery, who was just kind of renting out like an operation room in the hospital.
Okay. And how long did that pain continue for?
Well, it was about 6 hours of me screaming and crying before they finally, I guess, decided that I wasn't faking anything. And they gave me some medicine. But before that, I think what really made them finally give it to me was I got up to use the restroom and I looked in the mirror and I noticed my back was really swollen, which was weird to me. Very, very swollen. The muscle was like bulging out. And I noticed a weird rash on my back. It was bright red. And my back, it hurt on the inside, but it was numb on the outside. So I was really confused as to what the hell was going on. And when I noticed that, I called the nurse in and she was just kind of like, oh, I have no idea what this is. They called like 2 other people in the room to look at me. All the while I'm crying, I'm begging, and I have a pretty high pain tolerance. This is definitely not my first rodeo. So for me to really get to that state, it takes a lot. And they still were just kind of, it took 3 people to just look at me for 20 minutes before they decided to go and I guess call my doctor And then he finally prescribed the pain medication that he had mentioned that he prescribed, but clearly was not the case.
How bad did your nose look before the operation? Was it like Owen Wilson or was it Michael Jackson?
It wasn't really either. I'm just kind of greedy. And really, I just wanted to turn the tip up a little bit.
Oh.
And I mean, insurance covered it because there was a hole in there too. So, I mean, why not take advantage of that, right?
Yeah.
So that went on. I finally got my pain medication. It helped enough to where I could kind of pass out. And then in the morning when the doctor came to visit me in the room, I showed him my back and he immediately said, "Oh, that is a burn. Like your back is burnt."
Wow, like a heat burn or like a rug burn?
I guess a heat burn. I still haven't gotten any clarification on this. My surgery was March 20th. So it's been about 2 months now. Something really shady that I think kind of ties into this is my doctor immediately told me not to reach out to any patient advocate regarding the situation and that he would do me a favor and kind of advocate for me and take it into his own hands, which I didn't really believe, but I didn't know.
So the doctor
what to
said,
do.
"I'm your advocate. Don't use other advocates."
So what has happened since he said that? What has he done or what have you done about the injury?
So I'm visiting him for post-op appointments. And that's the reason why I didn't take any action initially is because, I mean, I still had to go see him and I didn't want to like maybe reach out to somebody and then tell him and then him, you know, maybe do something shady with my post-operative care since he is the one in charge of that. But nothing has really happened in my favor. I still don't have an answer as to what happened.
So let me try and focus on right now as you sit here today. What is the current injury that you're still suffering from?
Well, the rash on my back it's still kind of noticeable. It's faded.
Okay.
My back is still pretty numb in that area. That the feeling hasn't really come back, and it is still a little bit more sore than usual. And
do you have any limited, kind of any additional restricted movement or pain when you move?
You have a scar on your stomach?
Sorry?
Nothing. Go ahead.
He wants to know if your kidneys were removed.
Not that I know of,
Okay.
but you can survive with one, right? So far, so good.
Okay. What else are you still feeling right now in terms of pain or limited movement or anything like that?
Well, I definitely do have a limited range of motion, limited more so than I had before. I mean, I do have scoliosis, so I wasn't the most flexible back there, but it definitely hasn't helped anything. I still have loss of sensation. I also noticed, to add onto it, I had a blister on my left heel when I got home that I didn't have before, and it was pretty big, and there's still kind of like a circle where that's healing over. So it made recovery a lot harder than it needed to be.
So we've got a 6-hour surgery that went 11.
Yeah.
It was a nose job, but you've got burns, chemical burns on your back, and somehow your foot has developed blisters. We're now about 2 months out, right? March, April, May. That's how that calendar works. And you still are suffering. And the doctor who treated you asked you not to talk to anyone and kind of like keep it our little secret. Is that a fair?
Yep.
Was this overseas? Yep. Was this in America or was this one of those?
No, this was right here in the USA, baby.
Oh, wow.
In Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, that's where you went wrong. Fort Worth. That's
So here's
not
the
going
biggest.
Back there.
Either stay in Dallas or go all the way to Mexico, but don't half-ass it in Fort Worth.
Yeah, Venezuela, don't go there either. So here's the thing with these types of medical cases is you don't actually know what's going on inside of your body, even if you feel like the rash is getting better, or maybe you do have some limited range of motion or loss of sensation. You don't know whether something's going to be a problem, a latent problem that's going to crop up 3 more months from now, 3 years from now. And talking to a lot of personal injury lawyers and other medical professionals, that's the biggest concern. You go, hey, I went and saw my doctor for post-ops. It looked on the surface like it got better. You know, they just said, hey, that's just the normal soreness from having to go through a procedure. And then a year later, after everything's resolved, now you're having all these big problems. Or, God forbid, after that, and you didn't even know it was happening. So most of the time, what anyone would say, whether you're a medical professional or a lawyer, is have a second opinion. I mean, there's a whole line of work around making sure that you get someone who is disinterested to see whether it's a problem. So when we're as lawyers, we have a thing called conflict of interest, and so do doctors. So if you've got a doctor who you think may have screwed something up, or maybe it was one of the people that was helping, you've really got to get someone who isn't biased to look and see, is there an actual problem? That's what I would see as probably the first step. But Josh, what do you think?
Sometimes we disagree. We've had several calls where we don't see things
Many
the
times.
same way.
I love that shirt, and you didn't like it.
Sometimes we don't see eye to wonky eye. But one thing that I noticed right away here, okay, this is going to be for you at home. Camera in, zoom in for one of my patented rants. Okay, for you at home. If a doctor says, let's keep a secret, that's your first indication that you shouldn't be trusting this doctor. Anything the doctor says after our little secret.
Was he smoking a cigarette and did he have a monocle?
This is for you at home. Any circumstance. I don't care if you're in Mexico, LA. I don't care if it's a plastic surgeon, an ER surgeon. If a doctor says, let's keep a secret, and it's not a surprise birthday party for his wife, Done. I'm done with that doctor. You said it. You cheated off on my cheat sheet. Second takeaway, get a second opinion.
That's it.
100%. You got medical. So first, stop trusting your doctor. Second, get another doctor's opinion. Third, should be doing this all the way through. I probably should have made it first. Document everything, right? Take
I've
pictures.
definitely been documenting.
Take pictures of those. But it's not just for you. We want to help you, Miranda. But we also want to help people at home that might be going through something similar to this. Document everything. You take photos of the chemical burn because that might heal. And then they're going to be like, what chemical burn? Well, it was there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Take photos
I definitely got some photos immediately. I actually have text messages from his office where I was saying, like, I think it might be good for me to reach out to a patient advocate. Yeah. And they're saying, oh, no, there's no need to do that. So I feel like that's pretty good evidence on my end.
Yeah, let's reach out to a patient advocate, I think. And then I was going to say number 4 is talk to a lawyer, but you're doing that right now. So that is the procedural steps that I think everyone should go through if they're ever in a similar...
Yeah, and I would say since we're not your lawyer, this is one of those circumstances where we're going to be the first to tell you. We don't have an interest, financial or otherwise, about what you do or you don't do in this circumstance. We're just interested in making sure you have a good understanding of where you're at. And this is one of those circumstances where I'd say getting a consultation with a medical professional to understand the medical side and talking to a personal injury lawyer is important. We can help send some names over to you to make sure you've got a good recommendation for someone who's familiar with medical malpractice. It's a specific type of injury. You get hurt in a truck accident, that's one thing. Medical malpractice is special kinds of laws, special kind of rules. They actually have a different kind of statute of limitations. So you only have 2 years from the time of the actual procedure. So time is ticking much faster. For those of you at home, most of the time in a lot of states, it's 3 or 4 years for just getting injured. But for medical malpractice in Texas, it's 2 years. So definitely want to get moving on that stuff, and we can provide you some of that to help you get in the right direction. But documentation, hugely important. X, what do you think here?
I think that you sound like a very gorgeous person, and you should stay away from plastic surgery, and because them people are janky. And
lesson learned, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the needle for me from now on. The scalpel always did me dirty.
That's X's pillow talk voice. So just so you know, you brought it out of him.
X gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you.
Just saying, you shouldn't have did it, but you did it and it happened.
All right.
And love yourself, and nobody else will.
All right.
I will too, if you want to also.
Okay, that's another episode of Loveline with X, apparently.
I know. I didn't know I was on a dating show, too.
Well, neither did we. Miranda, thank you for being on the show. Do you feel like you were heard?
Yeah, and you guys answered questions before I even was able to ask them, so Love that. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Please feel free to follow up with us if you have questions later. The Bare Legal Show is here for you.
And follow with me if you want me to call you beautiful any more times. I will. If you ever just
I
feel
can
like
never
it.
get enough of that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Miranda.
you guys so much.
I mean, so my initial thought is I agree with X. Sultry voice. You know, it was you beat me to it, so I like that. Really, it's pretty straightforward. This is so common, and whether it's a plastic surgery or a dental procedure or something that's happening, people tend to think, well, these are medical professionals, they never make mistakes, but they really do, and they can wait too long. I thought you were spot on when you said if someone says let's keep it our little secret. Bro, that's the red flag.
Yeah,
It's either a
that's crazy.
pedophile or a doctor that left a scalpel in your back. That's the only two things that it is.
Yeah. This is not good. So, but that is really just a recap for the folks at home. That really is way. Document it. Make sure to talk to someone soon. You want to get those things quickly. A medical professional, get a second opinion. Talk to a lawyer. Because look, if it turns out to be nothing, then great. And I've had friends who've gone to talk to lawyers before who've been in that situation. They said, hey, actually, it isn't that big of a deal. Here's some things you can do. It'll be fine. But when they do need it, you don't want to have waited too long and either hurt your body irreparably or just given up your opportunity for legal relief.
Yeah, and these things are difficult to take on a doctor, take on a hospital, take on their lawyers and their insurance. You have to not only have the right lawyer on your side, but
Right.
you also need to document everything because it's an uphill battle. So please reach out to the show if any of this sounds similar to you and you want to talk through your circumstance and evaluate your claim. What's up?
I would just also say take that seriously. A lot of people have lost their lives because of plastic surgery. So whenever you feeling pain, you ever feeling hurt, contact somebody real quick. That's,
Kanye's mom, right?
Yeah, Kanye's mom,
Right.
DC Young Fly's fiance, a lot of people.
I mean, we know X had the rhino surgery because he's got this thing on his head, so they're going to heal it up. But we're speedy recovery, X.
I
Speedy
hope y'all
recovery.
hit it that. I didn't. That was a dumb. No, keep that in. That was a dumb statement. I was like, right, you got it. What?
If you have a crazy legal story and you want to talk to some lawyers anonymously, for free, call us.
Wait, we're not getting paid?
Nothing at all. I don't know how we're going to pay for it, to be honest.